Hi Geminis, it's Ree here, and when I say hi Geminis, I'm clearly talking to all of the various personalities. I know that that's a huge annoying trope, that you guys are like two-faced and you say one thing but you mean another, and you can be shady. A lot of people put it down as a really bad sign, but Geminis can be really awesome. And you guys are really big social butterflies. When people say that you are two-faced, it's actually because you do have a million personalities living inside of you. So you feel different things in different moments, sometimes moment to moment, and you want different things, believe really various ideologies, and so you can say one thing and mean another because you mean both things. Just different parts of you mean those things, and it can be confusing for other people to understand. And you can adapt really well. So you're a mutable sign, which means that the way you look and the way you behave changes. So even from photo to photo, you can look like a totally different person, and you look the same but different because you're always changing internally, which presents itself externally, and the way you feel about things always changes. You hate being tied down. You have very different interests, very different types of friends. You need that in your life. You need to have things being varying at all times. You need to know that there's always a way out. First of all, commitment is terrifying to you. It's like an actual bad word. It's like a big saying, making a Gemini really commit to something long term that they didn't decide on. Or that is really like set in stone and there's no escape, is the equivalent of like cross and garlic to a vampire. It's no bueno. It's not going to give you the results that you want. You have to always give the illusion of freedom if you want to convince a Gemini to commit to anything, or make it feel like it's their choice. And so they need diversity. You need something that grounds you because you're all over the place. You're air sign, but you're air. You're floating all over. At parties, you're the one that's talking to every different type of person. You have something to say to everyone because you adapt to everything. You love learning about like little bits and pieces about everything, and that comes to music, to places, different types of people, movies, books, politics, everything. You like to know a bit so that you always have something to add to the conversation. You love feeling like the smartest person in the room. You love feeling like the funniest person in the room. And a lot of the times you can be the funniest person. You're ruled by Mercury, which is all communication and intellect. It's also what rules Virgo. It's a very mental sign. So mental stimulation is your number one thing. That's how to get a Gemini. You mentally engage them. Yeah. Also, ignoring them is a good way to get them, but you have to know that you're even on their radar, or else they probably won't even notice that you're ignoring them because they've got so much going on. And you need diversity in everything. You need a million different types of people in your life. You probably start about 40 hobbies a week. So you probably got like tennis rackets and maybe swimming gear, maybe that bicycle that you've ridden twice, and new records, new movies, books that you started reading but then you switch to another. You probably start TV shows and then you have to hop between and then maybe not finish, but then maybe you feel like you have to commit, but then you have to like always feel like there's a way out. And a way that a Gemini experiences their downtime is usually still socially. So you'll call people, FaceTime them, go grab a drink with a friend, have a friend come over and just chill with them. Or if you like to be by yourself, then you usually have music going, TV, you're looking at your online shopping, you're cleaning, you're doing your nails, you need to be stimulated by multiple sources at all time. And that's because you constantly need things that are different and engaging, and you never like being bored. But it's also because you're trying to stay out of here, because in here there's all of the different personalities, there's all of the different parts of you that are fighting with each other non-stop, and you constantly are changing how you feel about things and thinking about different things and overthinking things, and you probably have insomnia because you're so stuck in your head all the time. So deflecting and being able to put your energy externally is a really important thing for Geminis, and it'd be really important for you guys to ground yourself, stop self-sabotaging, and stop putting up emotional walls. That's a huge trait in Gemini. It's you put blockages in front of anything, especially if it's commitment based, like a job or a relationship, or getting a mortgage on a house, or whatever it is. Anything that constrains you, you'll create ways to fuck it up. Even friendships, sometimes if you feel like someone's depending on you too much, you'll find ways, and then you'll be like, ha, told you so, I knew it. Or you'll just be like, I don't deserve happiness, because you get so in your head and you down talk yourself a lot. There's a lot of negative self-talk, and you just need to deal with it. You just need to deal with it and know that connecting with people can be scary. But if you can do it in an open, honest way without being manipulative about it, because like Geminis have the potential, you're amazing storytellers, and you can lie like this because you have so many personalities. You can even believe your own lie because there's so many parts of you that you're like, well, it could be true. I could think this. I don't know. This could have happened. And also you can like let people feel like you can let your guard down with them, and then you tell a Gemini a secret, and then maybe because they're such social creatures, they feel the need to tell that secret to other people as a means of connecting with them. But it's, you wouldn't like it happening to you, don't do it to them. And a Gemini will not apologize or admit that they're wrong. They will either just keep going on as usual, so like just drop it and then business as usual, or they will apologize in like an offhand way. So they'll just be nicer, or be like, oh, hey, I got tickets to this show or something. And that's their way of apologizing. But, it's not healthy. And people don't appreciate it, but they put up with it because they don't know how else to deal with that. So when people think that Geminis are shady or mean, that's just coming from a place of insecurity and a place of like, you never wanting to admit that you're wrong and never wanting to let those emotional walls show. There's probably a lot of people that think that you're their best friend, or that they're your best friend, and you're like, yeah, they're cool, because you adapt so quickly, and you communicate so easily with people, and yeah, so you can compartmentalize your emotions a lot, so you can feel something but then kind of put it in a box and think, I'm not dealing with that. But you do have to deal with it. And like, commitment's not always scary. It can feel scary for air signs and for fire signs, because you're just like trapped. But you can't just always be hopping from thing to thing. You have to, if you got Earth in your chart, it might help with that, but just something to be conscious of. And you love learning about everything. You're constantly searching on the internet. You need things to feel dynamic at all times. You can be really big flirts, and you're attracted to very different types of people. So people might be surprised that you're dating a certain person because you dated someone so different last time, and you're like, yeah, I'm attracted to a lot of different things because there's so many personalities in you. And boredom is your ultimate enemy. But you're rarely bored because there's so much happening in here that you're just constantly rethinking, reevaluating, fighting with yourself, putting yourself down or picking yourself up. You're never alone. A Gemini's really never alone, but they also don't like to be alone. Geminis always like to feel a presence of varying personalities and situations and options. And yeah, Geminis can be a lot of fun, and really great people, but you just have to make sure that you're not acting like an unevolved Gemini, and that you take other people's needs into consideration, and know that connection can be really good. And a lot of Geminis are really amazing at that, and they can really be attentive to people's needs, but they can feel really misunderstood. And that's because they don't really understand themselves a lot of the time. They're still figuring themselves out, but they want someone out there who gets them, and that's something, and who's patient with what they need, and who gives them the freedom to roam and explore. So that could even be, if you're in a relationship, like opening up to polyamory or adding a third party. And in the bedroom, Gemini will be open to really whatever you want. Like, communication is key with a Gemini. Talk to them. They're sapiosexual. They're turned on by words and communication and intelligence and wittiness and stuff that's on the fly and things that are new and different and interesting. And if you want a Gemini to behave a certain way in the bedroom, one of their personalities will be into it. One of their personalities is submissive, one's is dominant, one's into that freaky whatever you're into, or is just willing to try it because it's something new. So just be open with your communication with a Gemini, but give them space and they give them freedom, like, as much as you can, and know that maybe the thing that you told them that one time that they reacted one way, if you tell them the same thing another time, they might react a completely different way, and know that that's not anything to do with you. That's them dealing with themselves. So, be a sounding board for a Gemini. Help them figure out their stuff, because they're always figuring out their stuff. They need someone to talk to, and they're always talking to themselves. And they're super social, but like, really be there and give them that openness and that freedom. That's what they need. They love long distance relationships, and they love relationships that are kind of difficult to manage, in regards to the fact that I don't know how to put this, like, long distance, but also things that are like, oh, we're figuring it out, we're working on it, because it's that you like to have the attention, and you like to know that someone's there, but you also like the freedom to roam and the freedom to be your own person. And so you just always need stimulation. You're super social, a million different interests that are always changing, but that's part of you. You're dynamic and you're growing, and as long as you're growing in a healthy way that doesn't hurt anyone, it's amazing. So that's it for Gemini in a nutshell. Thanks.